Welcome to another episode of the Office Altering Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. If you're a first-time listener, hopefully you'll become a long-time listener. As always, I'm your show host, Molly McGrath, founder of Hiring and Empowering Solutions and creator of this revolutionary podcast. You can check us out at hiringandempowering.com. Hey, real quick, I want to give a big shout out to our premier sponsor of the Hire and Empower podcast, LegalEase Marketing. You can check them out at LegalEaseMarketing.com. More of the right cases. LegalEase was created by law and marketing professionals for law professionals, and they exist to help build solutions that give you time back. At LegalEase, they put you first, and everything they've created is for you and yours alone. So go check out our phenomenal sponsor, LegalEaseMarketing.com. All right, friends, we have a repeat offender here. I am so excited to have with me today Jordan Ostroff of LegalEase Marketing. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for being our guest.
Hey, Molly. I think this is the first time me being a repeat offender has been a positive thing.
I knew you'd like that. Oh, my goodness. I'm excited. So let's have a chat before we started recording. I love what you said here. Marketing is not a set it and forget it. And we were talking about what would be a cool topic, because, of course, topic, subject, copy is king. Especially when we're talking about marketing and you're like the Netflix of legal marketing. I'm like, that's it. Because I don't know what that means. Talk to us about the Netflix of legal marketing.
Sure. So look, Netflix, not the first one, but certainly I think the largest initial proponent of the subscription model. You pay Netflix, whatever it was, $5 a month, $15 a month, $25 a month now, depending upon what you get. And you get consistent access every month. Your marketing should be similar to that, in that, Netflix is coming out with new content every day, every week, every month. Not necessarily you have to do everything totally new, but you need to have that consistent process so that you can make changes, make tweaks, see what works out better, see what works out differently, jump on any of the random changes coming up. So you really should be looking for more of a monthly subscription relationship when it comes to marketing, so that you have the opportunities every month to continue to bring in cases every month, to continue to grow your firm every month, et cetera, et cetera.
So when you say like a subscription model, talk to us, because our listeners are marketing coordinators, they're client service coordinators, paralegal, law firm owner operators. Talk to us about what that means.
Sure. So I guess the easiest way I can walk you through. So I came up with this acronym with ChatGPT's help called SET IT, because my whole point is set it and don't forget it. So I want to walk you through. So SET IT, we're looking at strategize, execute, track, iterate, and test. So from the standpoint of that, Netflix subscription type model, you're going to strategize at the beginning, and then I would suggest quarterly. You're going to execute every month. You're going to track every month. Then you're going to iterate into the next month. And then you're going to test the changes. And you can always go backwards. If you try a different CTA here, if you try a different subject line there and it doesn't go well, great, go back to the old stuff. But get in that mindset of constantly iterating all of this marketing. As long as you have it tracked, you can see what works better. And you'll see what works differently. Like, it's interesting, you have some firms that want a lot of leads to do the consultations. Other firms want a higher close rate, so they don't want as many tire kickers. Some firms want the highest value cases, some want the churn and burn. So, what's right for you, you're going to have to find by doing. You can take what's worked for other people, but that may not be the right fit for your firm. And so that's why it's really the mindset of that constant iteration Netflix subscription type.
Yeah, I just got off a call with a firm who actually I just talked with you about, and they are calling you to get their reporting up because, to your point, they met with their marketing team, they strategized, launched Facebook ads, what have you, and now their non-attorney salesperson, their calendar is booked solid out with leads and initial consultations, so to speak. I'm like, Yeah, but these all came from Facebook ads, right? And their book's solid. But last week you just told me that there were so many no-shows. You've never had that many no-shows ever. And not only that, but you have no money in the bank, so to speak, no hires from all that. And so if you have somebody who comes from a warm lead or a referral source or what have you, you're screwed, because somebody who is already ready to write you a check can't get on the calendar for 2 weeks because I love this strategize, execute, and track, because they were not tracking leads. They're like, oh man, we hit the jackpot. We got 110 leads last week. This is awesome. Look at this. Our calendar's packed with initial consultations. I'm like, yeah, but are you tracking each one of those consultations? Are you tracking each one of those leads? Because they weren't tracking from initial phone call to booking the appointment and booking the appointment to show up rate, right?
Molly, I had a client who their prior company was selling them email subscriptions as a lead. Like they signed up for a newsletter and listed that as a lead. And I was like, all right, what's your conversion rate from that? And they're like, we have no idea. I was like, okay, so like, let's assume if you can get 1,000 emails on your newsletter to one client, that's pretty good. How many do they send you? And they're like 212. I was like, okay, so they probably sent you 0 clients. I just, it's amazing to me. And look, it's not, the thing that I want to make sure everybody's clear of is I don't think anybody has the magic bullet, but if you're not tracking any of this, you don't know what the bullet is. Like you have no clue what the get rich at the right speed is, because you don't know what's causing the revenue changes. You don't know what's causing the higher, increase in client reviews. You don't know what's causing any of the stuff if you're not tracking it correctly.
Absolutely. And I love it too, because you just said something when you said about the email newsletter. This another fact pattern that came out of my conversation: strategize, execute, track, right? So in that fact pattern too, so the strategy was Facebook ads, right? It's something new, something that we're going to execute on that. They're getting all these leads, but they have absolutely no email marketing or email funnel to even follow up with them. I think what I hear, I'd love your input. Most law firms that I talk to, they track 2 things: leads and hires, and that's it, and nothing in between and nothing after. So they didn't hire us, so check the box. They were a garbage lead or what have you. Then we're going to come back and scream at marketing. It's like, well, what was your follow-up process? Maybe it wasn't a no, it was a not now, or where's your follow-up process, right?
I mean, that's it. So look, blue ocean strategy, right? Like there's the red ocean that everybody's fighting and you got to find your blue ocean. I'm still to this day dumbfounded by how blue ocean strategy we are on LegalEase, because like of what you just said, it's amazing to me. Like, all right, this marketing company sells you a bunch of leads, but there's no follow-up. So hypothetically, I am just throwing out numbers for ease of use. If it cost you $1 to get a lead, and if it does, that's probably great. And that's it. And you convert, whatever it is, 10% of them, then it's $10 to convert them. However, if you can build automated free emails to each of those leads to get in front of them another 5 times or another 10 times or another 20 times, and it takes 20 points of contact to get them to hire, well, now instead of spending $20 to get 20 people to talk to once, you can talk to that one person for $1 and then 19 times for free and convert them. Like it's mind-numbing to me. Like if you are running any ads with no follow-up campaign, you are throwing money out the window, because you're not giving yourself a second shot at any of these leads. And it's a lot of times it's a numbers game. We look at the number of leads, but do you look at the number of touch points to convert them? Do you look at, what percentage of those consultations show up? Do you look at what percentage of those consultations close? Do you look at what percentage of the clients who hire you actually like? Work back from some of those things and you'll see like maybe all of them came from Facebook. Maybe all of them came from a specific referral source. Maybe all of them came from a webinar you put on. You might be able to find out that really this one strategy gets you the stuff that you like the most or the people you enjoy working with the most by tracking each of those different stages.
And that's where people's heads spin, because even as you're going through, as you're talking, I'm looking at them like in Lawmatics or Clio as little pie charts, or I don't know these answers. Say that this, what I'm thinking is I'm listening to this podcast, my head's spinning and I'm overwhelmed. Like, I don't know all this information. I don't have a degree in marketing. Talk to me a little bit about what you do for your clients. How can they get that information if they're listening right now and saying, okay, great, I know nothing about Strategize. Like, a lot of people don't even have a strategy. I'm like, what's your marketing strategy? What can you do to support them with this?
Meet you, talk to you, create a marketing strategy for you. I mean, it's that simple. Like the strategy part. So I totally agree with you. Too many people don't have a strategy, but of the whole thing we're talking about here, that's the easiest one. Like at its very core, the strategy is what kind of cases do I want, or really what kind of people do I want to work with? Like that should be the beginning of the strategy. Now, from that, you can look at how do we get in front of those people. If you're the estate planning attorney trying to work with older people who are worth $10 million or more a year, those people are probably not Googling for their lawyer. But if you're a criminal defense attorney working with kids at the local college, they probably don't have any relationships to talk to somebody, and they're probably exactly the ones going to Google or going to Facebook or whatever it is to find an attorney. And so having that strategy at the very least to be what kind of clients we want will help you figure out how to do it. And then you take the shot, you track and see how it goes, you make the changes, you see if the changes have, made things better, and you just keep at it. I don't expect this to be great tomorrow, but most of the people listening to this, we're looking at, 10, 20, 30 years left as lawyers working in this. We shouldn't want success tomorrow. We should want success consistently for that whole time frame.
And part of your definition of success should be selling your practice, your exit strategy, your succession, and you need this report. It's funny that you say, Jordan, that strategy, that's the easiest part. Not the firms that I talk to. When I talk to them, like, what's your strategy? They're like, well, and then they name out all these initiatives. We do a little bit of LSA. We do a little bit of, networking. We do a little, and to them, that strategy is in their head or it's conversational. But what I believe for the clients that I work with that work with you set the strategy and then you actually put it into the CRM and lay it out there. So then you can actually pull the reporting. And when it's executed, you can pull, most people have a strategic roadmap, a marketing plan, all these blueprints and all these freaking buzzwords they have, but they're sitting on an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Doc or a beautiful 70-page, report that they get from someone of all the things they're going to do. But then from the place of the blueprint, for lack of a better term, to the CRM, there's a massive disconnect.
Well, and to be fair, we're writing out the marketing plan in probably Google Sheets. But but you're totally correct, because I guess I misspoke a little bit. Like, the strategizing part should be the easiest part. Yeah. Because you should know who you want to work with. Yeah. You should know what sort of cases you want to come in the door. But then, when you don't have it written down, when it lives in your head, God forbid something happens to you. God forbid you want to take a vacation and somebody has a question about the marketing strategy. But when you write it down, it forces you to see where you have holes. In your head, it sounds great. We've got the LSAs, we've got the networking, we've got this. But if you write it down, then you're like, oh, but who am I networking with? Okay, then you write down a list of people. Okay, but then what am I talking about? Then you write down a list of questions. Okay, but how am I getting in front of them? Then you can write down, you need an automatic booking link or, something along those lines. By writing it down, it forces you to go through it in an easier way. And then, absolutely. Like, then you need to be tracking the right stuff from the strategy. You need to be executing the stuff on the strategy. You need to be looking at where the opportunities are. Yeah. I mean, it's, I haven't talked to anybody who didn't want to have a gigantically, wonderfully successful firm, but the people that take effort towards that are a lot smaller than the ones who wish that as a goal.
Or put their money towards it or what have you. They want them to magically fall out of the sky, right?
Sure. And look, and to be fair, I don't care what size firm you want. Like, if you have a really clear picture of what you want, it doesn't need to look like anything other than what you want it to look like. You know,
Right.
that could be a solo working, 5 or 10 hours a week. That can be a 4-person firm making $500,000 a year where the owner pockets 40%. That could, whatever it is. There's no right answer for everybody. I just want to empower as many people as possible to come up with the right answer for them, for their life, for their firm, for their clients.
So walk us through how people can work with you, what that would look like.
Sure. I mean, look, we follow this strategy. So we're having a conversation to create an actual marketing plan while also auditing what you've already done. So if you have a CRM, we're going to go through it and look at what some of the opportunities are. If you've already run Google ads, we'll pull the analytic information and see what's there. If you run the Facebook ads, we'll go through the account and see, maybe where you're getting some of the crummy leads from. Maybe it's some of the language, maybe it's some of the targeting, that kind of stuff. Then we're going to execute on the plan that makes sense with your budget. Realistically, that probably requires a project or two beforehand to build out the rest of the CRM, to create a new thing of assets or whatnot. And then monthly. So we'll do 2 meetings a month and we'll go over results with you every 2 weeks. And we'll look at where some of the changes are. And we'll talk about what's coming down next. And we'll, retrain that new employee on the system who you just brought in because you're expanding, like all sorts of things. But the more you look at that ongoing monthly relationship and the more you look at marketing being done with you instead of done for you, the more you'll find that consistent ongoing success.
So you will actually do the execution as well. LegalEase Marketing will do the execution as well.
For the most part, if we won't, we'll talk to you about where we won't, but there's so many marketing opportunities and things that can be done that make more sense tied together with everything else. Our CRM department can create a new contact form, which the marketing department can put on a landing page, which the ad department can run ads to, and it just keeps working, together as a cohesive system.
And talk to us about CRMs. So what CRMs are your favorite that you're working with? In
Great question. Super easy answer. Whatever CRM your firm will actually use and enter the data for, that's the best one. Really.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are ones that I would tell somebody not to go to from scratch. But if you've got a CRM and you're using it already, or you're paying for it and not using it, we can try that one first the majority of the time. If you're looking for anything out there, I mean, I'm always going to sing the praises of Lawmatics. My firm uses it. We use it. I think it's the best bang for your buck. I think they release a crazy amount of new features every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, and actually listen to the people who are there. But if you're in Clio and you're a, ride or die Clio user, you've got Clio Grow. If you've got Filevine, they bought Lead Docket a while ago, and they've got some integration there. If you've got if you're in Wealth Counsel, the company that bought them has their own CRM. So everyone's going to have a little bit different of a need. If you're doing any marketing, if you're spending any amount of money on marketing, you need a CRM. It's going to track the information better. It's going to follow up more consistently. It's going to allow you to, turn former clients into repeat clients or into referral sources at scale. It's the best money that I spend every month.
I love you. And usually when you have that CRM, I love that, referral sources at scale. But then you need the overlays of it. You need the field setup. You need the information put in there that will click of a button generate a report. So I know several of our mutual clients, but talk to the listeners I still have some people in this day and age are like, what's a CRM?
Sure. So technically, it's a customer relationship manager. I call it client relationship manager. We're lawyers. We have clients, and you don't even have to change the acronym. But look, I have we have a 6-person team that solely does the CRM builds. There are still things that I want to track for my law firm or marketing company that we don't. There are still things I want in a CRM that we don't. Like, it's never going to be perfect.
Sure.
But you can take a little step, like what you talked about before, Molly. If you're just tracking leads and hired clients, add what percentage show up for the consult, add what percentage from the consult hire you, add what percentage of clients you like, add what percentage of clients leave reviews. Like, just add, one thing every month or one thing every quarter, whatever it is. The more that you have the opportunity to make decisions based upon those reports, the more data I want you to collect. But when you collect nothing, you have no information to make decisions off of. So it's finding that middle ground. I don't know if that's even the right word. It's finding the right fit for your firm based upon your number, based upon your role, based upon your, amount of clients, amount of employees. There's a million different ways to do it. A little bit more that will actually help you make better decisions is worth its weight in gold.
I love that. Making decisions from reports. What do you see? Your own firm. You work with firms every single day. What do you see once somebody comes in and adopts? They're no longer admiring the concept. They actually start putting the reporting, start tracking the data, 2 millimeter shifts. Do you have, I'm not going to quote you and that you have to have precision and percentages, but like, what difference do you see of people that start tracking stuff? How does it impact the bottom line? And like, I don't know, this is what I hear from people like, God, I feel like I'm out of imposter syndrome. I actually am a true business owner because when people ask me my number, I love it when I'm at the bar and they're like, my conversion rate is 38.6%. It was that last month and now we got it to 57 points. Like, I love it when I see these lawyers at the cocktail party and they're all like spouting out these percentages. It's really fun to see. Talk to us about what you see of the difference once you know your numbers.
Yeah. Look, it is amazing to me. And let me be fair. I am guilty of this. I had a firm for 3 years without having much system-wise, CRM-wise. And I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure I close 75% of the cases that I want. Whatever number that is high enough to make you feel good, but low enough that you can rationalize, right? And when we ran the CRM for the first 30 days, it was not 75%. And here's the problem. Maybe it was 75% when I thought that. Maybe I happened to have a bad closing month. I have no idea because I have no data. I have nothing to support how I felt in the moment. But even if it was, and I don't know, let's say it was, I was mostly referral based at that point. So certainly more than 50%, but let's say it was 55%. And the next month it was 58%. And the next month it was 60%. And the next month it was 62%. By the time you make a 10% shift in cases, every 10 cases is one more sign up. So if you have 10 cases a month and you go to 11 and your average case value is $5,000, you made $60,000 over the next year for one more case every month for a 10% swing. And that number will continue. If you do 100 cases a month, that's 10 new cases. That's $50,000 a month. It adds up so quickly because you're already paying for these leads. Whether that's the money you spend on lunch, whether that's the money you spend on Google clicks, whether that's the advertising you spend on Facebook, whatever it is, you spent money for these. So let's maximize how many of them hire you, and let's maximize your ability to know which of those clients you want the most so you can take some money out of the ones that aren't working or the ones that get you the tire kickers or the people that don't even bother showing up for a consultation and put it somewhere else that drives more revenue to your firm while driving more clients that you actually want to work with. It's crazy. It all goes back to that tracking and then iterating and testing to make it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. It will compound over time so much.
It will. And how fun and depressing at the same time, because I hear this from attorney. Oh gosh, I close about 75, 80%, what have you. I'm like, fascinating. Okay. Because the average that I see when they start tracking it is 48.6% is the number that I see. And they're like, what? How is this possible? Like every person that leaves, they tell me how much I love them, how we're so great, yep. But what's the definition of closed? A signed agreement, money. That's the definition. So it's really fun when you start to see people, like you said, and iterate, and test and track and rinse and repeat, because you're like, wait a minute, it's 48%, 50%, what have you. Now you get deeply curious. Now your next question is why and how? And then you start asking the powerful questions and you figure out, and you're like, well, because we don't have follow-up system, because we don't have whatever. And then you start getting a little sharper and a little more discerning in the proverbial conference room, where you're like, wow, I'm letting people walking away. I'm actually telling people and actually guiding them to think about it versus hire us. And it's just really fun. To your point, you make those 2 millimeter shifts. that you really can make and start. I always like gamifying it and just really gamifying this and figuring out where your breakdowns are in intake, client services, conference room. A lot of times it's us, the entrepreneur in the front and the closer or what have you, or the attorneys. Many attorneys tell me, gosh, I'm terrible at closing. Great. If you figure that out and you see consistently, once you get that reporting, you're like, all right, I'm going to hire a non-attorney salesperson then.
Right. Yep. Or I'm going to strengthen the emails that lead into my consult, or I'm going to make sure, the person at the front desk knows to talk me up in a way that is honest, leading into the conversation. It's crazy. It's crazy to see how long people go without having any true idea of what the numbers are. And let me be more crazy about it. A lot of it's anecdotal evidence. A lot of us don't have the lead flow to make really good decisions in a way that is scientifically feasible. But what you did, what your firm did, what your leads did, what your referral sources did. That's all you can control. And so just that, little lever here, you don't know what that's going to play out to if you're not tracking all those different steps.
Wow. So how can our listeners connect with you? What's the best way, Jordan, for them to find out more about your work?
Sure. We can do a free consultation. That'll be with Greg on our website, LegalEaseMarketing.com, EASE. Or if you want, you can connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. There are only 2 Jordan Ostroffs in the world. The other one is a really good salesperson out of Boston who gets a ton of job offers to my email address. So if you're his boss, dude is killing it. And then there's me, the bearded lawyer marketer who posts, dad jokes and me and my kid and travel and some marketing insight here and there.
Oh, and tell our listeners, well, first of all, I have all the links in the show notes, so I'll be in there. But you have a massive, massive big win that I saw over the past 75 plus days.
Oh, a massive loss. Yeah, 75 hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm down, I was down 35 pounds at my lowest. I backtracked a little bit, so still down a little over 30. So getting back to it. And you can definitively tell when I post any old videos, I'm like, oh my God, we need to reshoot 400 videos now because I don't look like that anymore. So,
you still do.
No, I mean in a good way. I'm looking in, me 35 pounds ago. It's funny.
Congratulations on that. That is
Thank you.
Small feat. Oh my goodness. Good. Congratulations. Okay. LegalEaseMarketing.com, and you will see next steps in the right-hand corner. Click there. I will have all the social links. Absolutely, positively. Make sure that you get on Jordan's email list. Your emails, I read every single week that come out, Jordan. Honestly, your subject line always gets me to stop. I love they come from Jordan O. And absolutely follow Jordan on LinkedIn and Facebook. I love all the content that you're posting. And I would highly recommend, as attorneys, you model it because it's engaging. Your engagement is off the roof. Off the chain.
Thank you. That's because I'm me loudly and I'm not for everybody. And that's what I tell other lawyers. Be you. Have fun. You will connect with the right people. Like Molly and I connecting over our shared interest in, not wearing suits. And being super business according to the chart on the TPS report in this, whatever.
All right. So I love this. Set it, strategize, execute, track, iterate, and in bold in capital letters, test. Test. I love it. All right, Jordan, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Until next time, listeners, continue to be legal leaders leading legal leaders. All right. That's a good stopping point for us today. We've reached the end of yet another episode of the Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast, where dream teams of intrapreneurs in entrepreneurs world really do come true. Listen, whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, maybe a hiring manager, we wholly understand. Hiring, onboarding, and leadership is absolutely expensive exhausting, overwhelming, time and energy consuming for the already tax professional? Well, we have your back on all fronts. For 25 plus years, we have transformed over 4,000 law firm teams into becoming the most efficient, resourceful, and profitable aspect of your business. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, or our 66-day law firm turnaround at firingandempowering.com. And listen, if you enjoyed this episode, click below, subscribe, make sure that we get in your inbox, share it with your friends. And of course, a shout out as always to our premier sponsors at LegalEase Marketing. Check out LegalEaseMarketing.com. LegalEase was created by law and marketing professionals for law professionals. They exist to help build solutions that give you time. At LegalEase, they put you first as a law firm owner. Everything they've created from a place of automation, technology, and marketing was created for you and is yours and yours alone. All right, that's a wrap. Again, check us out, subscribe, share with your friends. If there's something that you're really pining for us to speak about, put it below in the comments, shoot us an email, go to our website and fill out our contact form. Tell us what you want to hear more of, and we will get it on the show for you.